Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. We got a shorter show for you guys this morning because I'm back on very shortly. In about an hour and 20 minutes from now, I'll be back on because we got something going on. There's a press conference that I'm going to be talking to you guys about here very shortly. But wow, what a controversial piece of information, man. People have been getting wild out here in these streets. It's been absolutely crazy, y'all. And we got to talk about this. This is very interesting. And if you care about my 2 cents, I appreciate it. All right. So please do me a favor before we hop into everything. OK, hit that like button down below. All right. Make it scream out your doggone name. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. You know what to do. And if you are watching on those other platforms, OK, hit that follow button. Okay, Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow me on all those platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated, okay? And of course, if you are watching on here, hit that subscribe button. Go over to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Hit that subscribe button over there as well. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon, okay? Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. Sorry, guys, just making sure I got a few things set up and check that out. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. Anyway, we got to jump right into this. I found out about a lot of this stuff very late in the day yesterday. And I was going to do this conversation live last night, but I was like, by the time I got free of, dealing with my normal everyday stuff, I didn't have enough time. It was too late at that point. So I was like, you know what? Let me do this with you guys in the morning. Let's have a conversation. And I know that this is something that we don't normally talk about on this platform, but I asked you guys if, 2 different times, asked you guys if you wanted to hear different conversations here, different discussions, and so on. Not only just we've been true crime heavy lately, and you guys are like, yeah, would love to have a variety of different things. And so we are going to be doing that from this point on. Still talking about true crime stuff. Absolutely. When there's true crime stuff to talk about, we will be talking about those things. But of course, this is something that has been super controversial. Everybody and their mom have been talking about this situation here. Okay, Khelif is the boxer from Algeria, an Algerian boxer, okay, is now being accused of being a man. It's very interesting, okay? Or let me just say this properly. I don't mean to be rude or anything like that, because that's not how I roll here, all right? I say, hey, live your best life, love who you want to love, and all that stuff. But they are accusing Khelif, I'm going to do this all over again, that this female boxer here fought against this other female boxer. And now there's allegations and accusations that this Algerian female boxer is actually a biologically born male. Does that work? I think that works. I think that works a little bit better. Okay. With all due respect. All right. Now, the thing is, okay, there's been a lot that's been going on here, and it's a very interesting case. All right. It's a very interesting situation because obviously there's been a lot of people that have been up in arms. There's been J.K. Rowling. And if you don't know about where J.K. Rowling stands, then you've been sleeping under a rock. OK, she has been very much against trans athletes fighting in like women's categories, right? In female sports. Okay. She's been very much against that. And many other things on top of that revolving around trans rights and whatnot. We're not even going to get there. We're not even going to tap into that conversation. Okay. We're here to talk about this situation and this situation alone. And I know that there's been an ongoing constant debate going on out here, and it's been very interesting because yesterday I was so confused, and I should have said in the title or on the thumbnail, I'm so confused. And maybe some of y'all are too, because the thing is that instantly the news came out hard. It was like a tidal wave of videos, right? You got your political commentators, you got your political, pundits and whatnot, all coming out here going, this is a travesty. Just getting mad about this whole thing, getting angry is all get out, and not really getting all the information. They're just getting a little bit of a tweet from J.K. Rowling or from the internets, right? Because that's where the debate started percolating, really. And they just jump onto their cameras and their microphones and just, angry, right? And it's kind of like, well, wait a second. What if Iman Khelif is actually biologically female? What if she's actually born female and has always been female since day one, since she came out the womb? What if? And there's been factors, things to put in consideration here. Now, all I'm saying is, what if? What if? I'm not sitting here, and I'm going to say here and say this too. I'm not sitting here saying that she's a woman, and I'm not sitting here saying that, I'm not here for that. I leave that conversation up to y'all. All I'm asking is for everyone to look at the information before they jump the gun, before they jump to conclusions, because that's what's exactly going on right now. We don't have all the information. But this poses another conversation, because there's information about Iman Khelif that, in a way, it's like, well, okay, shouldn't there be a more precise way of confirming whether someone is, was born biologically male or born biologically female? Shouldn't that be what's going on here? Let's be real. That's the conversation that should be had within the Olympics, within any other sports, so on and so forth, so that we don't have this debate. Let's be real. There's plenty of females that have been out here in sports that supersede the confines of their own, let's just say, quote unquote, biology. Meaning some are super tall. Some are able to obtain more muscle mass than the average female, biologically saying, right? They're still female. Shoot. So this woman or this boxer happens to hit really, really hard. Does that automatically mean that she is not a biological female because she happens to hit a bit harder? Some things to think about. Now, we got a lot to talk about, because I know a lot of us are wondering, what the heck is this? And who is Iman Khelif and all that stuff. So let's take a look at this article, okay? We got this article. We're going to take a look at this. And like I said, it's interesting, because as soon as the tweet came out and it became a thing, it went viral. Everybody and their mama looking at this. We are going to look at a little bit of a clip from the actual fight. And unfortunately, I have to be very, 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 very cautious because of copyright issues and all that crap. Okay. So I got a little bit of a clip, because the woman that she actually fought against, Angela, I think her name is Angela Carini. Okay. From Italy. All right. Her opponent quit 46 seconds into the fight after getting knocked in the nose once, just once. And she said, I'm done. She chucked up the deuces. I'm out. I can't fight her. That punch hurt like hell. And I'm like, wait a second. So she hit harder. Does that automatically mean, oh, she's born a male? So it's interesting. Like I said, very, very interesting. Like I said, I'm just asking the questions here because this is what we do on this show, right? We ask questions, we put in our thoughts and everything. And I'm posing this question off to you, right? What are your thoughts on this? And I will say this too. This should not be a fight in the family chat. We should be able to talk about this in a very cordial, copacetic, wonderful, utopian manner. Okay? So all I'm asking is for you guys to do that. Be adults. Okay? We can agree to disagree as well. But like I said, even myself, I'm confused. All right? So we're going to get into this article, but I do want to share with you guys the video, a little clip of the video. All right, real quick, because again, it's like crazy. I got two clips, but one of them, let me show you guys. Hold on. Before we go into this article. Oops, it is muted. Hold on. Let me make sure. And this is, like I said, this is very, quick. But like I said, there's another video I want to share with you guys here too. Like I said, I got to be very careful with this stuff. The Olympics don't play. They don't. All right. But let's take a look at this video. Now, here's the thing. Just because, and we got another professional female boxer that's speaking out as well. That just came out just about 3 hours ago. So we're gonna see that here in a little bit as well. Putting in their 2 cents about everything. And I'm telling you right now. Like I said, I'm very confused. All right. But it's very interesting that everyone's looking at this fight and instantly saying, oh, with all due respect, but it's like that Austin Powers thing, it's a man, baby. And it's like, wait a second. How do we know like that? How can you sit there and automatically assume just because of their physical presence? Hold on. Let me pull that video. Let me pull that video up one more time. Okay? Because I'm gonna keep it a buck. All right. Near the end, she comes over. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Wrong video. Let me show you what I mean. Hold up. My mouse is acting a fool. Come on. All right. Let me show you guys what I mean. Take a look at this. All right. Okay, so Iman comes over. Hopefully I'm saying their name correct. It could be Iman. But look, physically. She looks physically like not every, but she looks like she could be playing for the WNBA. Real talk. Take a look. I mean, look. Physically. That's an athlete right there, right? I think it's unfair for everyone to jump the gun and just say, this fighter is such and such. It's like, wait a second. So just because broad shoulders, that kind of thing. I mean, there's plenty of basketball players out here. Just in my personal opinion, I've seen plenty of female basketball players, plenty of female athletes that have that same type of physique. That does not mean they're less female or less feminine. Let's be real. But there's some interesting information about Iman, okay, about this particular fighter that I think has posed a lot of questions and, of course, has caused a lot more debate about this. All right. So let me show you what I mean. First, let's get into this article first. We're going to be diving into more. Okay. We're getting into this as a fam. All right. Just so you guys know, quick plug. All right. There is a press conference, okay, being held by the Secret Service revolving around the investigation into the Trump rally tragedy. That is happening at around 1 o'clock. I'll be on at 12:50 p.m. So right after we do this conversation, I'll be right back on to watch that press conference, okay? They're literally having a press conference. So hopefully there's more transparency and hopefully they give us more information. So we will be watching that as a family today, right after this show, okay? Just so you know, all right? So let's get into this. Who is Iman Khelif, all right? The Algerian Olympic boxer who failed a gender eligibility test. Now, I think that's a big deal too. And I think that's interesting. All right. They failed it. But that's interesting that because of some sort of, I don't know, ability to produce more testosterone or something of that sort. But let's take a look at this, okay? So she was, Emaine was scheduled to fight, all right, at the Olympics, Paris Olympics on Saturday, 2 days after her controversial boxing match with Angela, man, Lord have mercy, sorry, with Angela Carini. So on Thursday, just yesterday, okay, Italy's Carini quit 46 seconds into a round of 16 bout, all right, with Khelif after the Algerian landed one significant punch. Last year, Khelif was disqualified from the women's world champions in New Delhi for failing a gender eligibility test. I can't talk today. At the same tournament, Taiwan's Lin Yu-ting was also disqualified for failing to meet the gender eligibility criteria of the International Boxing Association. All right. And of course, allegedly, that particular Taiwan's fighter was due or is due to compete in the Olympics today. All right. So the IBA did not specify why the boxers failed their gender eligibility tests, but did clarify that neither underwent testosterone examinations. And I think that that is a very important piece of information here, right? They did not undergo any testosterone examinations. Neither Khelif nor two-time world champion Lin, 28, identifies as transgender or intersex. Okay? This win over Carini, of course, we already know, has sparked a controversy as the latter withdrew after the Algerian landed the first clean punch of the fight. Carini immediately turned to her team and opted against continuing. She apparently said it hurt like hell or something like that, something crazy like that. And the Italian soon collapsed to her knees in tears. Carini, 25, could be heard telling her coach, "It's not right. It's not right." And she later told reporters that she has never been hit so hard in her career. So Khelif is next scheduled to fight on Saturday. All right. Her opponent is not yet known, but her victory would guarantee the Algerian a bronze medal. Okay. And so, okay, again, it's very, very interesting situation here. All right. And of course, a lot of people are feeling some type of way about this. Now, she was speaking. Okay. So Carini, speaking after her fight with Khelif, said, "For me, it's not a defeat. For me, when you climb those ropes, you're already a warrior. You're already a winner, regardless of everything. It's okay. Fine like this. I didn't lose tonight. I only did my job as a fighter. I got in the ring and I fought. Well, I don't know. I didn't make it. I'm coming out with my head held high and with a broken heart. I'm a mature woman. The ring is my life. I've always been very instinctive. And when I feel that something isn't right, it's not giving up. It's having the maturity to stop. It's having the maturity to say, okay, that's enough. I got in the ring and I said, I'm going to give it all I've got, regardless of the person in front of me who doesn't interest me at this moment. I had to give my best. So with regard to all the controversies, I was never interested. I went in and I just wanted to win." She was speaking to the BBC and she added, it could have been the match of a lifetime, but I had to preserve my life as well in that moment. Now, what's interesting about this, what she says here, you saw a little bit of the video. I mean, it's 46 seconds into the fight and then she says, "I'm out." And allegedly there's another situation where she was out of a fight. She threw in the towel out of a fight very, very early on as well in the past. So she has a history, allegedly, of stepping out of fights. And which is weird because you think that you're an Olympic fighter. You're an Olympic fighter. It's just interesting. It's just interesting to me. Okay. Sorry, I'm having a bit of a hard time talking today, but it seems a bit interesting to me. Same person that's sitting here going, it's not a defeat. I'm a warrior. But then they go into the ring, ding, ding, pap, I'm out. I'm out. Thank you so much, but I'm out. Doesn't make sense to me. And to me, this seems like her trying to make excuses for herself rather than actually answering the situation. Because let's be real. She says, oh, this doesn't interest me. Okay. What was it that made you feel some type of way that when you got hit for one time, that made you say, I'm out? Think about it. Did she think or did she know? That's the one thing I want to know. Like BBC, any other of these reporters, did they ask her, hey, did you see her from across the ring? See her physically and say, no, I'm not going to. I assume this is a person who is biologically born a male, and I'm not willing to fight this person. And then ding, ding, it happens. You get punched in the nose and you're like, no, I'm not doing this because this person is trans woman and faking the funk. Or you just got hit really hard and you didn't like how it felt and you threw in the towel. It's either one. But the controversy came right after she got hit in the nose. And then she said it hurt like hell. It's the hardest I've ever been hit. So on and so forth. So like I said, I got questions. Right? We got some videos. I'm gonna play some of these videos for you guys real quick. Because like I said, it's just so all of it is very bizarre. Okay? I mean, it's very bizarre. We got some things to look at that we are gonna look at, okay? And then the other thing is too, let me just say this too, and let me pull up this photo before we go into the videos. Where's that photo again? I have it here. Boom. All right. So let's take a look at this photo one more time. And here it is. Some people are going to sit there and go, oh yeah, by looking at her face, you could tell that was a trans woman. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not right. Okay? That's not right at all. And I'm going to say it like this. Just because somebody has not as soft features does not automatically mean otherwise. Just saying. Just saying. So let's continue on. Somebody said her face knew. And it's like, no, that's not right. That's not entirely correct here. All right. Just not right. Okay. Let me continue on though. Let's continue on. Hold on. Let's take a look at this. News Nation.
Women's sports thrust back into the spotlight after a boxing controversy at the Paris Olympics. Italian boxer Angela Carini withdrew from her match against Algerian Khelif after just 46 seconds, saying she'd never been punched that hard before. Khelif, who was deemed eligible to compete in the Olympics only this week, has been in the international spotlight since last year. She was disqualified from the World Championships for failing a, quote, gender eligibility test that found elevated levels of testosterone. The story igniting a firestorm on social media, with celebrities criticizing the IOC for allowing the fight. Both the Algerian Olympic Committee and the IOC expressing disgust with the rumors.
They are women. They competed in Tokyo. I think we all have a responsibility, by the way, to try to dial down this and not turn it into some kind of witch hunt. These are regular athletes who've competed for many years in boxing. They're entirely eligible. They are women on their passports. The testosterone is not a perfect test. Many women can have testosterone, which is in what would be called male levels, and still be women and still compete as women.
Real quick, before we continue on, a couple things that he just said. First off, Iman's passport, Algerian passport, identifies, it says under gender, female. Now, Algeria does not condone, nor does it, it is not looked at to be trans or to be homosexual or anything of that sort. They do not honor the LGBTQ plus community at all whatsoever. Okay, let me just make that abundantly clear. Okay, they do not support that kind of thing. All right, so those alone, in my mind, I'm going, okay, how can you sit there? Because I know that the conspiracy theories are already percolating already. Oh yeah, they planned this so that Algeria could go home with a gold medal type thing. I don't know about all that. Okay, I wouldn't agree with all that. Okay, but then at the same time, I'd like to know what kind of tests are being done. Let's be real. I mean, I'm sure they're doing a physical, right? I'm sure they're doing all those things to make sure that these women are actually born women fighting against each other, right? But I also am kind of curious about what it is that they're doing to make sure those things are done. Now, the other thing too is, what is this gender eligibility test, right? Can you break it down a little bit more, way further than just, oh, she has more testosterone in her system, right? Now, I understand that they say that she was producing XY chromosomes in her system as well, in her body as well, which is one of the reasons why maybe that she has the ability to do more than the average, I guess, female, right? But at the same time, I'm quite curious as to what is the standard procedure when it comes to any athlete, any athlete. I'm talking about male or female, right? In their respective sports. I'm curious about that. How do you know for sure that this person is 110% what they say they are? And it's kind of wild that we even have to get into this conversation. If you really think about it for a second. It's kind of wild that we have to even have this conversation. Real talk. It's kind of wild that this conversation is even sprouting from this particular fight. But like I said, let's continue on, because there's a lot to dissect. Okay? There's a lot to talk about. And like I said, maybe I'll start a poll. But like I said, if we can keep it respectful in the chat, that'd be great. Okay? And you guys are doing fantastic. I'm not saying that you guys are being a-holes. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I appreciate you guys being so kind from what I'm seeing in the chat. All right. But real quick, let me get this super chat. Okay. S-Dubs, thank you so much. Chat saying she was born female with female bits, but male chromosome. It's a genetic condition. Thank you so much. Similar to, and I don't even know if I can say that word out loud. Is that a derogatory term now? Like, what's the right word? Let me just, the hermaphrodite. Yes. But at the same time, I'm wondering, is that a derogatory term now or not? Okay, I'm wondering, but somebody answer in the chat. If it's not, then great. But that's kind of what I've been understanding as well. Because when I heard about it, I was like, oh, wait. So she got female parts. She produces testosterone like a man. So that would make her, yeah, right? Okay, it is derogatory. I apologize. I'm not trying to be derogatory at all. It's called intersex. Okay, thank you. Thank you, honey. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. Okay. I apologize. Many apologies. Okay. But that's one thing that I'm kind of curious about, right? Then that would be intersex, right? Wouldn't that categorize as intersex? But if they don't identify as intersex, then interesting, right? Born female with female parts, right? But producing male chromosomes. They ran a test on them, right? On Iman. They said that this is why, okay? This is why she didn't get, she was failing these gender eligibility tests. But if she identified, oh boy, like I said, it's like we're going in circles in a way, right? It's very interesting, okay? Nonetheless, right? But let's continue. Biologically female. Just remember that, guys. All right?
Okay, joining me live now is Carrie Williams, former Olympic level USA boxing coach and founder of Tussle Fight Gear. Carrie, good morning to you. What do you think about this news? Where do you stand? Should she be able to compete?
No, I don't believe that any individual that has been tested for gender that failed to prove that they're a woman should not be able to compete against women. So this athlete, the other athlete in question, they did a gender test. It doesn't mean just testosterone. It also means chromosome. They're showing XY chromosomes. Now, it can be an intersex issue. We don't know. The IBA is the entity that did the testing, but there were also 2 independent tests done in the past, and they failed these tests to prove that they were women.
But this controversy right now is talking about the high levels of testosterone. The IOC there even, again, expressing disgust, saying that there are other, issues that women can have or conditions that would have them showing higher levels of testosterone. So why is this coming up now? Why not go to those other potential medical conditions instead of immediately assuming that this woman is transgender?
Now, hold on real quick. I'm going to roll this back because I want to see this here. Medical conditions that can cause high testosterone in women. So polycystic or the PCOS, all right? A lot of women, as of late, it seems like there's been quite an uptick in PCOS, right? It gets a little bit difficult to have children, okay? Just to be completely real, PCOS is no joke, right? But let's continue on here. Non-classic congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Okay, never heard of that before. DSD, which is disorders of sexual development, which we are going to look at that in a little bit. All right. And then adrenal or ovarian tumors, anabolic steroid misuse. So let's be real right here. Anabolic steroid misuse is another one that you can put in consideration, right? These are all athletes. They're fighting. They're fighters. And then suddenly there's an uptick in their testosterone. Instantly you're thinking like, what kind of gear you on, sweetheart? Okay. What kind of tar are you injecting into your veins, right? Anabolic steroids. That's instantly what I would think. Instantly. But this is me just saying this, shooting from the hip, uneducated in this world of high testosterone in women. Instantly I would be like, oh, well, she shot up. She training and she was shooting some things in her veins that she shouldn't be doing. Some performance enhancing, some PEDs. All right. That's what I instantly think, which would disqualify her lickety split, obviously, right? Lickety split. But they're not saying that. They're saying that it was because of DSD, because she naturally produces more testosterone, and she has male chromosomes in her body. It's very rare, but it's real. It does happen.
Conditions instead of immediately assuming that this woman is transgender.
I'm not sure why they're doing this. I don't know if there's an agenda, but the IBA is the entity that is supposed to be governing this right now, but they removed them. The IOC removed them. The World Boxing was supposed to be the entity that is basically saying, if they're women, they're not women. Now, what happened was their guidelines for world boxing says if you're born as a man, then you are a man. That's just what it says. It doesn't matter what the passport says. Anybody can put whatever they want on their passport. You don't have to have a medical approval saying you're a man or a woman.
Apparently apparently in Algeria they run things different. So as far as writing, checking off female instead of male, okay, in Algeria, I don't think Algeria lets that fly. I mean, just personally. And don't worry, we got photos and stuff for you guys to look at as well, which is from her childhood as well, which is very interesting too. So like I said, me confused. Okay. Hamburger. Let's look at this.
So I don't know why they are allowing these individuals to compete right now, especially it's such a last minute issue. It's very dangerous. As you mentioned, one of the opponents from yesterday said she had never been hit so hard. And, basically these women are going into the ring and fearing for their life.
Khelif has a record of 42 wins, 9 losses over an 8-year career. This is not even her first time competing in the Olympics. She was knocked out in the quarterfinals in the 2020 games. She didn't even get a medal. She's been beaten by biological females on multiple occasions. So why do you think we're seeing this scrutiny now?
That's a very good question, actually. Because if you really think about it, okay, let's keep it a bean up in this mug. All right. If she's been disqualified in the past, she's had losses against women as well. How is this suddenly being a thing now? How is she being thrown, like she just said, how is she being thrown under scrutiny now? Right. And the other thing, too, is in the past, when she took these tests, were they looking at it as you are on PEDs, or were they looking at it as, no, she has a genetic what's the word? She produces chromosomes that are different than the average bear. So, see what I'm saying? I'm curious about that. Like I said, it's very odd. Like I said, this whole thing is weird. In fact, let me do this. I'm gonna let this play, and I'm gonna put up this poll. All right, but shout out to News Nation for this clip. Real talk.
Well, going to the past, this individual only started boxing in 2018. When you put that into perspective, when you have that person competing against women who have been boxing since they were 5, that makes a big difference. Now, this individual is getting older now. So a lot of males going through puberty, they go through it up until their mid-20s. So a lot of physical changes are happening, which makes that individual stronger, bone density, all of these issues. So you're going to see that individual coming up in skill set, and also, their bodies are much stronger.
Okay, we should once again mention Khelif, this boxer. Her passport says she's female. The IOC expressing disgust with the rumors now, igniting a firestorm on social media. Carrie Williams, former.
Yeah, even IOC now is, of course, angry about this as well. Okay. And like I said, I feel like if they have done their research, if they really did, let's be real, if they really did their research, IOC or any committees that were involved in this whole thing, allowing this particular fighter to fight, then it's on them, right? It's on them to produce proof, if that's the situation, if it turns into that big of a debate, right? They should produce the information so that everyone understands what's going on here. And I'm hoping that they did. or I'm hoping that they do, because obviously everything started percolating about this yesterday, and it continues to percolate on to today, right? See a bunch of you guys in here talking about this and hearing this conversation out, and it's pretty wild, right? It's pretty interesting. But they're saying the IOC is feeling some type of way about this because they're sitting there saying, hey, we did everything we needed to do to research to make sure that she is female to be a part of this fight or to be a part of this category, right? To represent her country and all that. But like I said, I'd like to see the car fox too. Let's see the proof. What are these tests that you do? So on and so forth. I'm just curious. But if they let her fight, then they let her fight. If they let her fight, then it means whatever she did, whatever test she had to do, so on and so forth, sufficed. So in a way, for me, I'm like, I don't understand why everybody's up in arms. If she went through the process, then it is what it is. But let's continue on. A lot of us.
Love presents itself in so many ways.
That is. I don't know what that is. Love presents itself. Yes, it does. Love one another. Oh, no. Come on. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. My computer froze. Okay, my bad, guys. My computer completely froze. So, lo siento on that. All right, so let's try this again. Yeah, I was like, dang, that's trash. All right, let's take a look at this. DSD. What is DSD? All right. So, the condition at the heart of the Olympic boxing controversy and the Iman Khelif bout. All right. Differences in sex development. DSD has become a central point of controversy in this year's Olympics after alleged biological male Algerian boxer Iman Khelif beat an opponent. All right. Khelif was banned from previous women's tournaments, okay, after failing a gender assessment, but was controversially given the green light to compete at this year's games. And facing off against Italy's Angela Carini, they were victorious after just 2 blows, with her opponent yelling, "This is unjust," as the match was abandoned. Khelif hasn't yet commented on the subject, but speculation abounds that she has a DSD, a rare condition that affects between 0.05 and 1% of the population. It's also called intersex conditions. DSDs can result in outwardly female individuals having male chromosomes or anatomy. Now, I'm going to say this real quick. If this was a situation where Iman had male anatomy, which means male parts, she wouldn't be fighting right now. I mean, let's keep it real. She would not be fighting right now. So from my understanding is that she has male chromosomes, but she is physically female, right? Physically female bits, right? And all that. Let's continue on. DSD is an umbrella term for 40 plus individual conditions which develop in the womb. But that's something interesting because it's 40 plus individual conditions that are underneath the category of DSD. That's interesting. And I'm wondering, when would they be giving us more, right? Or categorize the conditions under one category. 40 different conditions are still underneath one category, and there's 40 conditions. You don't think that they would individualize those things just a little bit? And you know what? Hold on. I agree with that 100%, Sophia. Calling her trans endangers her life. Yep. It's different than saying she has a medical condition that gives her an unfair advantage. But here's what's so sad about this. And in fact, let me see if I can find this really quick. And I agree 100%. J.K. Rowling. She put up a post, and I feel like she owes Iman an apology. I will say that. I just got to find the doggone. I got to find the post. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it this way. J.K. Rowling. One second, y'all. I'm trying to pull this up. I guess this is it. I guess this is the one. Let's take a look at this. I think this is it. She's posted a lot since then, okay? This is from J.K. Rowling, all right? Can any picture sum up our new men's rights movement better? The smirk of a male who knows he's protected by a misogynist sporting establishment, enjoying the distress of a woman he's just punched in the head, and whose life ambition he just shattered. I'm just saying, putting that kind of stuff out here is pretty damning. And instead of getting all the information or as much information as you can, I think it's a little bit messed up for them to automatically say, oh yeah, what we hear is this, so let's just jump to conclusions and make accusations that you have nothing to back up with. And one thing that I think is what I'm waiting for as well, because I was hoping that, by the time we went to sleep and woke up the next morning, that we would hear or have some sort of statement made by the fighter themselves and explain themselves. In a way, just put out a statement. We've heard from the Italian fighter that looks like this. Defeated as a mug. Sad as hell. But this ain't the first time she's defeated or has bowed out of a fight in the same fashion. So, very interesting. By the way, guys, I have a poll going on in the chat. Please go over there, check it out. Get your ass to the poll and let me know what you think, okay? And let me know your thoughts, all right? Let me grab this really quick. Again, Grace, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Intersex is not trans. Intersex is a medical condition. Boxer was born with female parts, also born with male chromosomes. And of course, this is what we're learning right now, of course, as well. Many don't even realize they are intersex until they have fertility issues and are tested. That's beautifully said. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But see, that's the thing. When it comes to something like this, it's interesting. Like, do we have the same issue in the male sports? In the male category of sports? We don't. A lot of times we're just hearing like, oh yeah, he juicing. He got caught with, he just got popped because he was using PEDs and stuff, right? We don't hear much about this on the male side so far, right? But this is very, very interesting to hear about it on the female side, right? And I think that there should be a lot of things put into consideration when somebody goes in to fight, right? Or goes into a specific sport. And Trace, that's a good question. I have not heard anything about whether she has been disqualified or not. I have not heard anything about that at all so far. But it is still interesting nonetheless, right? Now, where were we? Where were we? Yes, we were talking about DSD. Now, here's the thing, though. Like I said, 40 plus individual conditions which develop in the womb. I think that's very important to put that in consideration, right? And I think it's kind of messed up that these 40 individual conditions don't have their own category or have their own title, if that makes any sense. They're just kind of lumped underneath the DSD. And I think there's a lot that has to be put into consideration like that for sure. For example, a person can be born with female genitalia, but have the XY chromosome combined, XY chromosome, typical of males, as well as internal hidden testicles. Now, that's very interesting as well, too. But that's the thing. Does this fighter have those types of things, or were they just born female and are producing XY chromosomes like a man? That's the question that should be answered. For example, so they can give people unusual combinations of chromosomes and reproductive organs, which in the context of sport can produce their performance or can boost, their performance. For example, an athlete may be born with female anatomy, but have a DSD, which boosts her level of testosterone, a hormone critical to building muscle and strength. Hence the reason why she's able to hit harder. If we're talking about just DSD, she gets Angela Carini gets hit in the face with her punch, and she goes, "Oh no, that's not it. I ain't fighting this. I ain't fighting this girl. I ain't fighting this fighter. I'm good. That's the hardest I've ever been hit." Okay, so she may have a genetic disorder that allows her to have a little bit more power, right? But that's what it seems like, at least to me. But like I said, I still sit on the fence on this one because it is very interesting, right? And we're here to have that conversation, or at least pose the burning questions. But I still would love to know what tests they did, right? Just to see what up, though. And how did she pass this time? Remember, she has been disqualified or not allowed to go in. She has failed gender eligibility tests before. I don't know why I can't say eligibility. Gender eligibility tests before. She has failed them before. But then suddenly she's led into this situation. Why? I'd like to know. But let's continue on. In some cases, athletes have only learned that they have DSD or have a DSD during pre-competition medical tests, which have led them being disqualified and ending their dreams of representing their country. One of the most famous examples of DSD in sport is that of South African runner Caster Semenya. Hopefully I'm saying that right. An Olympic gold medalist. Okay, so Caster has a DSD called 5-alpha reductase deficiency, which means she has the male XY chromosomes and produces higher levels of testosterone than normal for women. This DSD can occur in people with female reproductive anatomy and genitalia, as in Caster's case. She has previously detailed how she has male but internal testicles, and no uterus, but does have a vagina. Semenya, this Olympic runner who dominated women's women's running events between 2009 to 2019, learned at the same time as the rest of the world that she had a DSD. She was controversially forced to take drugs like the contraceptive pill to lower her testosterone to align with new rules that limited the level of hormones in women's events. Okay, she has previously shared how this gave her quote unquote panic attacks, caused her severe stress, and made her quote unquote want to throw up every day. The subject of her DSD, and if she was discriminated against by sporting bodies, has been the subject of an external legal battle. Now, I want to say this too. This is not the first time that we've seen fighters, right? Athletes in this situation, like we're seeing right here now, right? This is a runner that's been competing at the Olympic level for many years, okay? Just running at the professional level for over 10 years, as it says. And suddenly, out of nowhere, finds out that they have a DSD. It wasn't something like they just woke up and just said, it's not like they were born and mom and dad just said, okay, honey, you were born different. Here's what's going on with you. No, she said she found out later that she had a DSD and went out of her way to take certain things so that she could drop her testosterone levels so that she could compete against other women. Interesting, right? And now we're looking at the same situation here, possibly with Iman. I really just don't see how a kid born, I'm telling you right now, I'm showing you. These are the photos that are coming out showing Iman right here. Let me blow this up for you guys. And it ain't AI. Okay? It ain't AI. But these are the photos, Mike. Hold up. We got more. We got some more. School photos. There she is again. Another photo, I guess, with her sister, maybe. So I don't think she, like I said, I don't think when she was born, her family was like, well, we'll just put a dress on her and let her grow her hair out and we'll just call her a girl. She's going to be a prize fighter when she grows up. No, I don't think that's the case at all. But like I said, I'd like to know a little bit more, right? Because like I said, I got questions. A lot of this is not, it's very wild. The allegations that are coming out in this way. Okay. And see, that's what I think as well. That's what I'm looking at it. That's kind of the alley I'm looking at it at as well. Kind of like the same thing with Caster Semenya, right? She, professional runner, Olympic runner, finds out later on in life that she has a DSD. And just so we understand again, reproductive anatomy and genitalia, okay? She has like this one, just so you see it. Let me show you what I mean. It's right here. There it is. Female reproductive anatomy and genitalia, as in Caster Semenya's case. She has previously detailed how she has male but internal testicles, okay? But no uterus, but does have a vagina. She didn't know this until later, that she had a DSD. Okay. She learned about this the same time the rest of the world did, finding out that she had a DSD. I mean, that's some crazy stuff, guys. All right. Pretty crazy stuff. So there is still a possibility that, for example, Iman is taking these tests and trying to understand why, right? She's getting kicked out, these gender eligibility tests. She keeps failing and all that. She's like, I just want to compete. All I want to do is compete. And I don't understand why I can't compete. And then maybe she hasn't done her own research, you know what I mean? Hasn't done her own look-see-loo into her situation. Maybe that isn't the case. But then again, maybe it is, right? It's just so strange to me when you look at this, right? It's so strange to me. And I feel like after the first situation where she failed, they should have been like, you need to go and, talk to a specialist as soon as possible. All right. Just so you understand yourself. And then if you do have to take some sort of contraceptive pill or any sort of something that's going to diminish your testosterone levels or something of that sort so that you can compete anywhere, I would do that as well. Maybe that's the situation that did not happen. Hence the reason why she was able to get hence the reason why we're in this situation right now. Maybe that's what it is, right? But I don't know. Like I said, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. And again, guys, please get your butts to the poll. I have a poll going on right now. I'd love to see 400 votes on it before we end this show, because I'll be ending it shortly because we got that press conference coming up here very, very soon. All right. And I know a lot of you guys want to see that. Sophie, Pascal, I doubt they are that understanding and informative to her. Yeah. I mean, let's be real. They may not. They just be like, I'm sorry, you cannot compete. And she might be like, oh, dang. All right. That's unfortunate, but all right. And keep it moving. Maybe that's the case. But if she has failed more than one time, I'd start asking questions. In fact, I'd be seeing a specialist to see what the heck is going on. Real talk. Okay? Real bloody talk. Somebody asked, what time is the presser? The presser's I will be back on in about 15 minutes. Hence the reason why we're going to be wrapping up the show fairly shortly. All right. So get your butts to the poll. I want to hear your thoughts and all that. I got a news clip I want to share with you guys. Let's check it out.
People are talking about this one. As you said, this is a complicated case. It's just not that simple. Now, the boxer in question has high levels of testosterone, but she is a woman. And the Olympic Committee wants to make it very clear this is not a transgender issue. In just 46 seconds, with a single punch to the nose, Italian boxer Angela Carini forfeited her Olympic match against Algerian Iman Khelif, sparking worldwide controversy.
I mean, you could see that there was a real distinct power difference. It was a bad situation. It wasn't fair.
It's just,
I don't know. Like, you see, that's the thing. How is it not fair if the person has been okayed by the committee? If the committee gave it a thumbs up, how is it an unfair fight? The other thing is also I want to put into consideration here too, and I'm gonna pull this back because there's this shot right here. What about their weight class? Are they in the same weight class? I mean, they gotta be. They just might be physically, they might be holding their weight a little bit differently because of their physical heights and stuff. But there's a lot of things to put in consideration. You know what I mean? You're not going to put a 250-pound heavyweight against a lightweight in a boxing match, unless it's like an exhibition match and you're just watching, like, I don't know, Logan Paul fight Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? They're not in the same weight classes. It's exhibition, and they just made the money. They just made the monies, right? But when you're looking at this, it's like, all right, there's other factors you got to put into here. You also got to remember, what about Mike Tyson? Remember him? Mike Tyson was a beast in the ring. He annihilated everyone until he hit that cocaine. But he was annihilating everybody until he met Robin Givens. But he was annihilating everybody, right? You could look at that and go, yeah, that's not fair. All his fights were unfair. All of them lasted one round, y'all. One round, a lot of them. Until you met Robin Givens and found cocaine. But you know what I'm saying, all right? You know exactly what, you know the story about Mike. Okay? So, plenty of unfair fights out here. Plenty of unfair lineups. Plenty. I'm just saying. Okay? So when they say it's unfair, well, there's been a lot of unfair fights and they're all done by, you know, they're not this controversial. Okay? Just saying. All right? But let's continue on, though. Let's continue.
It wasn't fair.
It's disgusting and it's unfair. I've lost all my respect for the IOC.
At issue is Imam Khelif's gender.
That was Oscar De La Hoya. And he even said, I have lost all respect for IOC. And let's be real. Yes, if this is a situation where they knew they ran the test and they still said, well, you know, let her fight. It's not good. I wouldn't say it's good, right? But at the same time, they're letting her fight. They're letting her in, coach. Should she be allowed to play? That's the end situation here. Okay? But yes, this, as far as we know right now, this is not a trans woman. It's not. But let's continue on.
She is a woman reportedly born with XY chromosomes, typically carried by men. In 2023, the International Boxing Association did not allow Khelif to compete because she failed their gender eligibility test. But the IOC has different standards. For Arash Markazi, founder of the Sporting Tribune, that's a problem.
When you have two governing bodies who don't agree on who can participate, you have this controversy in place. And I think that this is something that clearly needs to be worked out before the Olympics come to Los Angeles in 2028.
It's dangerous and someone will eventually get hurt.
Golden.
I mean, that is boxing, though, right? Aren't you in the ring hurting each other? I'm just asking for a friend, you know? Like I said, I'm not taking any sides here. I'm just saying he's a retired legend, okay, in the sport. Ain't that what you do? You hurt each other, right?
Boy and Olympic gold medalist Oscar De La Hoya took to social media to express his concerns.
There is zero chance that these fighters are evenly matched. It's impossible and it's scary.
At Panda Boxing Gym in Westlake, these boxers have different opinions on Khelif.
But if she does have Y chromosomes, technically she's a guy. Yeah, she was born a girl. I mean, she was born a girl. In that case, it will make it a fair fight.
The International Olympic Committee issued a statement that says in part, every person has the right to practice sport without discrimination. All athletes participating in the boxing tournament of the Olympic Games Paris 2024 comply with the competition's eligibility and entry requirements. As with previous Olympic boxing competitions, the gender and age of the athletes are based on their passport.
Now, here's the thing. This is based on their passport? For real, though? So I'm curious, are you doing the tests? Because it seems like they did the tests. You know, the gender eligibility test, right? We talking about the Olympics. But you're sitting here saying that, oh, no, we base everything off of their passport. Now, I want you to understand that apparently with Algeria, they would never let someone, if we're still in the trans conversation, all right, they would never. They'd be like, oh, you say that you are a trans woman, but you really were born male, so you're male on your passport. There's no ways around it, right? There's no hoops you can jump through. It's Algeria. They frown upon any member of the LGBTQIA+ community, period. So for the fact that the Olympics are looking at that and going, okay, it's based on their passport, that says something. But then at the same time, I'm going, wait a second. Are you doing the tests? are you running these doggone tests properly, like every other, boxing committee, or not? Because that seems a bit lazy, don't you think? Because then you can say any person, like, let's not forget American athletes out here. Okay, there's plenty that have passports that can sit there and go, okay, yes, I was born male, but I'm actually, but I do identify as female, so I'm going to check the female box off for my passport. I'm just saying, it's just it's just very, very interesting nonetheless. But I do want to share this with you guys too. There was a boxer by the name of Sky Nicholson, okay, female boxer. She came out. She had some things to say, and I'm going to wrap this up with you guys here on this because we got to hop on to the next thing. All right, so let's take a look at this.
I'm getting some really mixed responses to my story sharing Amy Broadhurst's post about the controversy around the women's boxing in the Olympics. I just want to clarify a couple of things. One, I've actually fought and sparred both of the girls. They were born female. They were born with an XY chromosome, which is the male chromosome, but they were born with female bodies. They have the physical attributes of a female. They have grown up as girls, as females, as women. They have competed as women the whole time. These are not naturally born men who have decided to call themselves women or identify as women to fight women in the Olympics.
So now you're hearing that from another female boxer, right? Breaking it down for us as well. And I do appreciate this particular athlete coming forward and speaking out and saying this, right? Because I really don't think that this was meant to be out of malice. I don't think this was meant to be something that was turned into such controversy. But I do think that there's an important piece here that needs to be made. The important piece, a certain new piece of procedure that needs to be kind of exacted here, in my personal opinion. Because obviously, if someone is being born with male or female parts, but has male chromosomes and all that stuff, I know it gets super, super complicated and super wild. But at the same time, I think it's really important that those pieces, if it turns into this technical, it becomes that technical, then they need the technology or the procedures to handle these things technologically or technically properly, if that makes any sense. That's the situation I feel, like I said, it's just so interesting and so random. But unfortunately, we have to end this show here. Okay. So I'm ending the poll, and the poll says, I said, what do you think about Iman? Okay. I said, 51% of you guys say she's male and don't let her fight. I think that's very interesting, guys. I mean, let's be real. This is a tough conversation. All right. Because we don't know everything as of yet. And I think that everyone should wait until there's more information that comes out instead of jumping the gun and saying, oh, she's a male or whatever. Right. I think that there's a lot that we should be looking at first before we automatically try to chastise, ostracize this particular athlete for some odd reason. If we're looking on the side of she's male, she was able to slip through the cracks. She was able to slip through the cracks without any problems. And if that's the case, that is a problem that should be looked at within the IOC. Real talk. Okay. That's how it should be. Okay. But like I said, this is something that needs to be talked about, looked into, and find out more about. Okay. Before we automatically jump to conclusions. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. Seriously, thank you so much. Do me a favor before we head out. hit that like button down below. Appreciate it. All right. I'm going to be back on in about 3 minutes because we got another show here to check out. All right. Secret Service is going to be giving a news conference here in about 15 minutes. So we will be watching it together as a family. So join me, hop on over to the next show, which is going to be happening in about 2 minutes. So go over there, hit that like button down below here. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, be sure to hit that follow button, please and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Crush that subscribe button on my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Hit that join button down below. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. And don't worry, we'll be having a lot more of these controversial conversations in the future. All right? So be ready for them. All right. But I'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Big news conference coming up very, very shortly. You don't want to miss it if you've been covering or following the Trump rally tragedy. So anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Talk to you guys soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.